Hello again. This is Tasha from Tasha Says, and I'm coming to give, as promised, a week one update of the Skyla IUD and how my body is doing with it. I did the insertion process. The previous video was the insertion process plus the first 3 days that I used it. So this is going to be week one, not including those first 3 days. So from Sunday to Saturday. And what I can say is that I've had a pretty good experience still, I think, judging from what I've heard from other people and what I read. This week I was spotting. I did have some spotting, which was, it wasn't something that I just enjoyed, but it wasn't as detrimental or awful as I've read from other women. My cycle usually ends on Sunday, but by Wednesday, Thursday, I was still spotting. So for me, my spotting was off and on. It eased up all the way about Thursday evening. Friday, hardly had anything. And then Friday during the day, it turned into nothing. Saturday, nothing. And that's where I'm supposed to stop. So up to Saturday. So yeah, it's been a good experience. Now, let me tell you about this spotting. And before I go any further, I want to warn you, let you know, I'm very comfortable with my body. I'm very comfortable with my bodily fluids. Some things do freak me out, but what I'm about to describe, I think you'll figure out why I'm saying that. But anyway, so with the spotting, it was heavier at times. Not a lot of times would it end up, I was wearing a pad some days and a panty liner other times, but not a lot of times it would end up on there. Monday and Wednesday, I noticed after I worked out, that's when I would get some blood on the panty liner or the pad that I was wearing. It was just very little, just a little spot. But other than that, the only way I really knew that I was spotting was when I would use the bathroom and it would come off on the tissue. So again, it wasn't a huge major deal. I've seen some women say that it was basically like they kept going with the period. It was not like that for me. However, let's talk about Tuesday. So in the last video, I did say that I ended up feeling my strings, and it was fine. I finally felt them. Now I'm obsessed with kind of doing that. I will get over it, I'm sure, but I'm kind of fascinated with it. So Tuesday, I decided to feel for my strings again, and in reality, you're supposed to feel for them when you get done with your cycle to make sure that the IUD hasn't fallen out and make sure that it's still in place. So I felt it Tuesday. Now, previously, my spotting, when I would wipe, it would have some tissue in it, literally tissue, like flesh, tissue from inside of me. It wasn't alarming. I was fine. I just kind of, thought it away or whatever. So Tuesday, I went and I felt for my strings. I felt around and there was some tissue again that came out. I'm feeling for my strings with my finger. And there's some tissue, flesh that came out. I was like, whatever, no problem. So I went back in there because I wanted to feel for my strings. And then I came across a lot of something. And I pulled that out. It was like a marble size, if not, maybe it was bigger than a marble size full of tissue. Flesh mixed in with the spotting blood. So I sat there. I was on the toilet. I just kind of sat there and looked at it for a while because, again, I'm not grossed out by myself. I'm not funny about that. But it was disturbing because it was a ball of flesh. And I'm trying to figure out, where is it coming from? Am I dying or is everything okay? I'm telling you this because this is one of those things that I didn't read about anywhere. I had no idea to expect this, kind of like with my vagina being swollen from the process, from the insertion. I read nowhere about this, so I kind of had to take time to process it. After doing that, I, of course, went to Google and saw that some other women. So I kind of pieced two things together as to why this happened. One of the ways that the IUD works is by thinning your uterine lining, right? So I'm thinking, okay, my uterus must be very sensitive to this, and all of the lining thinned at one time and decided to come out in my hand when I went to feel for my IUD. That has to be what happened. And I thought it was either that, or another thing that I read is, it's a foreign object in your uterus, and your uterus is trying to probably get it out. I'm probably in shock, like, what is this? Why is it here? And that's coming out. So, of course, it's not unusual to have some of the uterine come out when you're on your cycle. That's what's mixed in with the blood. It's tissue as well as blood. This just kind of alarmed me a little bit. One, because I'd never seen anything like it before, and two, because I have a ball of tissue on my finger now. So yeah, I'm okay with it. I logic all of that away, or logically thought all of that away. Felt like it was probably normal. Of course, when I read Google, it takes you to the worst thing first. Oh my God, it's pierced your uterus, it's traveling, and now your uterus is falling out, and that's what's in your hand. I'm pretty sure if that's what was happening, I would feel some type of pain. So I'm okay and pretty confident in saying that's not what happened. So pain, by the way, cramps, I had them Monday. Monday, I had to take some more ibuprofen. After that, I was fine. It's a little bit of cramping off and on, but nothing to stop me from doing anything, nothing to even alarm me. It's been fine. So that really has been my process this week. Some spotting, the little ball of tissue, and trying to figure that out, which I think everything is okay. Feeling for the strings, which I'm familiar with now, and I understand where they are, and da 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 da. Saturday, I did not feel them. I went to feel for them Saturday, the 14th, so the last day of the week that I'm reviewing yesterday. I went to feel for them, and I could not find them. So I was just like, I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to stay here until I feel these strings, because I know that this IUD has not fallen out. And I know that it has not gone anywhere else, because I'm pretty sure I would be sick right now. So I just kind of chilled there for a little while and felt for my strings. And eventually I did. I felt for them. Strings move. They curl up. They go behind your cervix. You're going to get really familiar with your body trying to feel for these strings, especially if they move, which I knew, but I wasn't prepared for, because they were so easy to feel the first couple of times that I did. This time they had curled up in a little ball or something and gone away. So I had to kind of chill there for a second and figure out, okay, this is where my strings like to hang out. So that's my week. It's been a great experience. I've heard women talk about the acne. They've gotten awful acne. I have not had that happen. I did get one horrible pimple on my back, but other than that, I haven't had anything. Some other women have had terrible cramps still, but none of that has happened for me. So I'm safely saying that I have had a good experience so far. It's just week 1. I'm expecting the spotting to come back a little bit. From what I hear, that can be on and off for the first 2 months. I was shocked, actually, that I stopped, within this week 1. But so far, that's where I am, and that's what's happened for me. I'm also wondering if those women who have had awful experiences as far as the hormonal, a lot of those women with the Mirena, I'm wondering if it's because the Mirena has a higher dosage because it's bigger than the Skyla that I'm using. And I'm also wondering if those women were going fresh into some type of birth control with hormones in it. I was fresh into the pill. I was on that last week when I got this in. So maybe my body didn't have to adjust that much, and those women did. I just wonder if that has anything to do with it. But anyway, that's been my week. As promised, I'll be back next week to give you a week 2 update. But thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for reading. If you have any questions, I will try to answer them, to the best of my ability. Don't forget to go to tashasays.com. Thanks. Bye-bye.